TV and MSG welcome you live to the world's most famous arena. They've been in New York City for almost a week, surviving the big blackout of 2003. Today, their first game together against Puerto Rico. And Team USA hope it sets a successful tone for Olympic qualifying later this month in the Caribbean. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Troutwick. Welcome to the Garden. For Team USA, it could have gone one of two ways. They could have gathered here in New York City and said, we are sick and tired of hearing about what happened at the World Championships last year. Instead, they have totally embraced the idea of coming together and erasing those bad memories. They've been in great spirits this week after intense practices. Two notable absences here today, though. Karl Malone, whose mother passed away last week, and Kobe Bryant, replaced by Vince Carter until his legal issues get resolved one way or the other. For more, let's go to Marv Albert and John Andres.
All right, thanks, Alan. John, as we look back at the United States' poor performance last year in Indianapolis in the World Championships, the U.S. has made major changes, particularly in the backcourt. Now, last year, it was an overweight Baron Davis, and remember, Reggie Miller was injured and was not a factor throughout the tournament in Indy. This year's team is much stronger. Ray Allen, Mike Bibby, Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, and Tracy McGrady, who also will play up front. They comprise the United States backcourt, and it's expected that the catalyst will be the NBA's leading assist man, Jason Kidd of the New Jersey Nets.
Marv, as we know, the U.S. wants to put its best foot forward. Why not go with the best? And they did with Jason Kidd, who makes everybody play at a better pace. And his teammates, we witnessed this week at practices, love watching him play and love playing with him because of his ability to ignite the offense. Larry Brown wants motion in his offense, and he's got the best to dictate it.
And Jason continues to add to that impressive resume. Comes off a career high in points, just under 19 per game, plus 9 assists per ball game. Now, for more on the U.S. backcourt, let's go back to Al.
All right, Marv, I'm with Ray Allen of the Seattle Supersonics, who hopes to get a lot of those Jason Kidd assists. You've got your gold medal. You got that in 2000. What's your inspiration for going after another one?
It doesn't hurt having two, Al. I think that, you know, that experience is behind me. I have a lot of great memories from it, and I think now on this team it's time to create new memories and, you know, just give the people of the world something to enjoy.
Everybody's got one. What's your blackout story?
I was actually on the golf course playing the golf, and I found out that, you know, we couldn't go back in the city, and we had to camp out at Jason's house for about 4 or 5 hours. And
that's not so bad.
I wasn't complaining. He didn't have power. It came on about 9, but it worked out. I was happy I was there.
All right, Ray, enjoy today.
Thank you, Al.
Ray Allen, back to you, Marv.
All right, Al, as for Puerto Rico, we have watched them during the course of the week in their workouts. This is not a pushover team. They've been together for many years. They do have 3 guys with NBA experience, including their point guard, Carlos Arroyo, who is the catalyst for this ball club.
Yes, he is, Marv. He can play. He's been with Denver and, of course, Toronto over the last couple of years, plus Utah. And now he's signed recently for the Utah Jazz this coming season. He's a big-time guard. He can fly. He's the guy that makes this team run. And if they're successful today, it will be Arroyo leading them down court quickly. That guy can really move.
So coming up from Madison Square Garden in New York, it's the United States and Puerto Rico, a warm-up game in preparation for next week's Tournament of the Americas, the route to qualify for the Olympics in Athens. It is a star-studded American squad hoping to avenge the debacle of last summer in Indianapolis.
Tradition.
Start here in New York as you look at the head coach of Puerto Rico, Julio Toro, 27-year veteran of coaching. Jose Ortiz, one-time member of the Utah Jazz. Larry Ayuso at the small forward, born in Puerto Rico, grew up in the South Bronx. Daniel Santiago, now with the Milwaukee Bucks, formerly of the Phoenix Suns. Carlos Arroyo, John talked about him at the start. In the backcourt with Eddie Casiano. And Larry Brown will open up with Jermaine O'Neal of the Indiana Pacers, Tim Duncan of the NBA champion San Antonio Spurs, Tracy McGrady of the Orlando Magic, Jason Kidd of the New Jersey Nets, and Ray Allen of the Seattle Sonics. There is the head coach, Hall of Famer Larry Brown, one of the game's premier coaches. And now the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. And John, he has been happy with the U.S. team's approach he feels this squad wants to send a message, not just qualify for the Olympics in Athens.
Yes, Marv. Larry started speaking to his team 1 week ago today, and it was all about unselfishness, team play, and very fundamental basketball. And he's done a great job, because having gone to the practices this week, you see one all-star USA player exceeding to the other. They're all thinking pass. But as time goes on, they got away from that a little bit because it was too much passing almost. So they got back to a real fundamental game, and they love playing for Larry.
Only 2 officials in international play. Juan Figueroa, Sergio Pacheco. That is Figueroa with the basketball, and we're set to go. One change in the United States starting lineup. Allen Iverson will open up instead of Ray Allen. I would think that his one-time coach, Lairs, that's a play off the tap as Carlos Arroyo is able to score. I don't think Larry Brown would not have Allen Iverson out there on the floor. So Iverson, McGrady, Kidd, Duncan, and O'Neal are the starting 5. And here is Iverson over Arroyo.
Why not? He's a superstar. Hey, how about Daniel Santiago, though, for Puerto Rico, getting that opening tip comfortably done?
Arroyo with the ball, being guarded by Kidd. This is Ortiz being played by Duncan, and Daniel Santiago able to go high off glass. Santiago played well at Indianapolis in the World Championships last summer, averaged 12 points, 8 rebounds. O'Neal being guarded by Santiago. McGrady with the rebound and the reverse.
The very special skills of Tracy McGrady.
Off the steal, here comes Iverson. Putting moves on Cassiano. Leading Duncan.
Marv, what a thrill it is for the fans here in New York, and of course those watching this game, to see this NBA collection of stars. What a thrill watching them warm up before the game. The crowd was really humming.
U.S. assistant coach Greg Popovich telling us the other day the key is that they are stressing movement. They're putting more of a premium on movement. And defensively, Popovich said we have to reprogram the players back to their days of adhering to college rules. So Duncan is the U.S. an 8-4 lead, and John Larry Brown told the team the other day, when you're playing international basketball, it's not a different game, it's a different sport. The court is smaller, three-point distance is closer by about 3 feet. Nice move by Larry Ayuso. Played his college ball at the University of Southern California.
Larry Ayuso going left, going up against bigger people all around him, but a very strong player, the leading scorer on his team through recent international competitions.
Foul on Jermaine O'Neal. Also, the lane is wider in international play. The game is shorter, 40 minutes rather than 48. No restrictions on zone defense. Basket interference is allowed on defense. Here's O'Neal. And back comes Puerto Rico. Cassiano with the lead pass, handled nicely by Santiago, running the floor and beats the United States. Down court, Puerto Rico up by 1.
Puerto Rican coach told us the other day when we went to their practice, Marv, Julio Toro, if we don't run, we're dead. We must run, and boy, the big man ran there.
The basket counts, and the foul.
Puerto Rican team running quickly. 7-1 Santiago. Very impressive here in the opening minutes of this game.
Foul on Cassiano, and Tim Duncan, two-time most valuable player this past season, led San Antonio to a second NBA championship, and Tim was MVP of the finals. Arroyo trying to use the pick. Santiago got the step. And now the United States on the run. Puerto Rico able to get back. Look away pass from Kidd for Duncan.
The beauty of the game advertised by Jason Kidd.
And in San Antonio, John, they're saying, boy, that's what might have been had Jason made the move.
Oh, they got a lot of skill down there.
Duncan has scored the last 9 points for the United States. A long-range attempt off the mark. Larry Ayuso coming up short. And here's McGrady for 3.
That's not the offense that Larry Brown has been teaching this week.
Back comes the United States. Iverson putting moves on Cassiano. Iverson.
Cassiano did a great job staying with him. Key thing in international play is there is no illegal defense. So that's why Larry Brown has had his team focusing on ball movement, a lot of motion on the court. Theoretically, the 5 Puerto Rican defenders could stand in the low post.
O'Neal with the rejection on Ortiz. Iverson again met by Cassiano. And now the United States team will reset. Now McGrady had the mismatch and was looking for Kidd, but the ball back to Puerto Rico.
I'm impressed, Marv, thus far with the Puerto Rican defensive transition. It's fleet-footed. Iverson and Kidd are not getting by people in transition.
Now, these two teams are preparing for the America's Men's Olympic Qualifying Tournament that will take place in San Juan at the Roberto Clemente Coliseum starting next week. The United States will open up against Brazil. Duncan once again beating Santiago down court. Brazil's star player, incidentally, is Nene Hilario of the Denver Nuggets. Following Brazil, the U.S. will face the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, and the Virgin Islands. And the top 3 finishers in the tournament will qualify for the 2004 Olympics in Athens. Pretty move by Arroyo. Carlos Arroyo to the finger roll.
Arroyo at 6'2", succeeded against much bigger people.
United States with a 15-11 lead. Duncan has scored the last 11 points for the U.S. Iverson draws the foul.
Lots of good action here early. Look at that quick pass underneath to Tim Duncan from Kidd initiating the play. And then in transition, the 7-foot Duncan down court. Beautiful lead pass from Iverson.
The Reebok Classic leather clip.
Moments ago, we talked about the different rules in international play. And here are some of the major changes. 10-minute quarters as opposed to 12 minutes in the NBA. We saw the 2 officials rather than 3. 5 fouls and you're out of the game as opposed to 6. 3-point distance is closer, 20 feet compared with 23-9. Lane is wider. No restrictions on zone defense and basket interference, as we talked about, allowed on defense.
That's the most interesting to me, where a guy at the foul line taking a foul shot can shoot the ball will hit the rim, not go in clearly, but let's say it might go in. Well, once it hits the rim, the defense can come in and tap it away. Quite a shocker to the eye if you've been used to watching U.S. basketball.
Allen Iverson, a 77% free throw shooter last season. 4-time All-Star as a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. So United States with a 17-11 lead. Rick Apodaca out of Hofstra has checked in for the first time. Nearly a steal. Arroyo off the recovery. And a reach-in foul called on Kidd.
USA foul is charged Jason Kidd.
4:20 remaining. In this first quarter, the United States offense has been Tim Duncan, 5 for 5 from the field, 11 points. That's Apodaca on the inbound. And this is Sharif Fajardo putting moves on Tim Duncan. Fajardo with a pretty spin, and that will count. It's a goaltend. Got it on the way up. Sharif Fajardo, born and raised here in New York. He's played in the CBA, played in Greece, played Summer League with the Cavaliers and the Bucks.
Allen Iverson at the other end in quick transition. Fajardo was certainly determined to get that move up against Tim Duncan.
United States up by 6, just under 4 to go. And the first, nice move by Arroyo, went behind the back. The tip by Ortiz. We had a nice chat with Jose Ortiz prior to the game. He'll be celebrating his 40th birthday next month. Originally a first-round pick of the Utah Jazz. And he says this will be it. He's hoping that Puerto Rico will qualify for the Olympics, and he said it's time for the younger guys to take over. Nice move. And Ortiz with the layup.
Cassiano with a beautiful move. Meanwhile, Ortiz has had experience, as we witnessed, of course, over the years with the Utah Jazz. He misses Karl Malone, spoke very graciously about Karl's absence before the game. He said they'd love to see him to express his own sadness at Karl's mother's passing.
Funeral will be Tuesday, and then Karl Malone will rejoin the team in San Juan. Here's Cassiano firing one up. Iverson and Kidd in the backcourt. Duncan with McGrady and O'Neal on the front line. And the foul is called on Apodaca.
Puerto Rico foul is charged to Rick Apodaca.
Well, Jose Ortiz, the man we were just speaking about, getting good position under the basket. As Duncan turned his back, lost track of him, and at 6'10", Ortiz takes up a lot of space and can be very effective around the hoop. He is a legend in Puerto Rico.
Jose will get a rest. Team captain of Puerto Rico. He's played 23 years in the Puerto Rican Basketball League.
Great shape, great shape.
Elton Brand has checked in for the first time for the United States, along with Mike Bibby. Bibby able to save it, but it's picked off. And here comes Arroyo. Arroyo splitting through and draws the foul. Took the bump from Duncan. Carlos Arroyo will go to the line.
Oh, we see the speed of Arroyo, the man we highlighted at the Open. He's certainly not going to make people forget John Stockton in Utah, but he looks like he will bring some substantial skills to a team that likes to run. He's had a lot of experience, too. He was also a star at Florida International in the U.S. for 4 years.
Carlos led the Puerto Rican team with 23 points. Puerto Rico beat the U.S. for the bronze in the recent Pan American Games. The United States going with a collegiate squad. So the U.S. with a 1-point lead. Marv Albert, Johnny Hoops, John Andres, Al Troutwick, Madison Square Garden on the MSG Network and NBA TV. Nice move by McGrady. It counts, and the foul.
Well, that had all the makings of a move that would not be successful for a normal player. But Tracy McGrady's ability to go up in the air. He's got almost 3 defenders on him at one moment there, but the soft touch and the strong finish got it done.
Foul on Fajardo. 3-time All-Star Tracy McGrady, who last season averaged 32 a game, leading the NBA. So Iverson and Bibby now at the guards with Brand, Duncan, and McGrady up front. Iverson putting moves on Arroyo, then goes behind the back. McGrady behind the back to Bibby. Yes, from downtown.
Oh, Bibby loves to work out of the corner. We saw that in practice this week when they were practicing against zones and half-court defenses, and Bibby as the outlet man in the corner was deadly.
United States up by 6. Block shot by McGrady. Rejecting Apodaca. Good play by Brand, getting it to the cutting Duncan, and Duncan heads to the line. Ray Allen getting set to check in.
Puerto Rico falls timeout.
Well, in transition moments ago, McGrady getting that basketball and delivering it for a nice, comfortable jump shot for Bibby.
Apodaca called on that foul, and Puerto Rico has taken a timeout. U.S. and Puerto Rico met in a scrimmage this past Thursday. That was prior to the blackout. U.S. won at 103-79. 77-76 over John Jay College here in Manhattan. Johnny, where were you during the blackout this past Thursday night? Let me guess, shooting free throws in a pitch-dark gymnasium.
Had I been there, I certainly I would have been shooting, Marv. There was a little daylight left at that time late in the afternoon. Talking about the John Jay action this past week, it was a thrill to be there to see the students of basketball, all of these stars, working under the very experienced, successful Larry Brown and his distinguished coaching staff as well. They were doing the basic stuff, wind sprints, all kinds of drills, and unselfishness and teamwork was the name of the game. And they seem to have a unique unity about them, which is really a credit to Larry Brown's philosophy.
Pretty good staff that Larry has going there. Greg Popovich, last year's NBA Coach of the Year, as he guided the Spurs to their second NBA title. He was a member of the coaching staff in Indianapolis last season. Roy Williams, new head coach at North Carolina, following a terrific 15-year run at Kansas, and Oliver Purnell, the new head coach at Clemson, following his success at Dayton.
He turned that Dayton program around. He coached at Old Dominion with a 57% winning percentage. He's an excellent coach.
Vince Carter has checked in for the first time. The U.S. with a 7-0 run. They now lead at 26-18. Arroyo being played by Bibby. Nice setup. Fajardo rejected again, but this time a foul is called. The U.S. has been very aggressive defensively. Vince Carter looking for the block, called for the foul.
Fajardo, a 6'9", strong player. He's attracted a lot of NBA attention over the last few years, working in summer camps, summer leagues, Rocky Mountain Summer League in 2001 with Cleveland. He was with Orlando's Summer League in 2002 with the Bucks. Had some knee problems last fall. A very strong player, and he's still thinking big time, and he should. He was the WAC Conference All-Star, played at UTEP. Experienced guy and strong.
United States up by 7. Here's Duncan. Yes. And Tim Duncan has been on fire. 6 for 6. 15 points along with 5 rebounds.
The jump shooting is very inviting for guys who can shoot the long shot.
Nice play on the back door.
Vince Carter got caught looking at the ball, lost track of his man.
Richie Dalmau with his first field goal. And a foul on Santiago, reaching in on Brand. Puerto Rico is over the limit. First on Santiago.
And 6 on the team.
Head coach Julio Toro, 5 years with the national team, but as you mentioned earlier, Mark, 27 years coaching in Puerto Rico, and doesn't smile much.
Now, I said that the U.S. should have gone to the line over the limit. Apparently, the officials did not pick up the fact that they are over. Now, straighten things out.
You should be proud of yourself.
I really am.
Mr. Official. Mr. FIBA rules.
I'm all over the FIBA rule book, John. You just can't, get me to put it down. No, actually, I started questioning myself. Saying, wait a second, they changed that rule?
Now you're wallowing in your success. FIBA,
very pleased,
incidentally, is the International Basketball Federation. That's what FIBA means.
Look out. And it's a jump ball. Dalmau lost possession.
Vince Carter, with a tremendous effort there on the floor, is doing a turnabout now with his image, and it's working well. Started last Sunday with this team.
John, I was very proud of myself regarding that previous call, as Brand not able to hit, but the teams do alternate possession in terms of jump balls after the opening tip. That's why that was not a jump ball. Our statistician Dave Freed pointing it out. Santiago off the good lead pass. So the U.S. up by 6. We come up on 10 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
Santiago, by the way, will be a member of the Milwaukee Bucks this coming season.
Final seconds. Duncan for three. The tip by Brand at the buzzer. So after one here at Madison Square Garden, United States with a 31-23 lead.
Well, Elton Brand hanging around the basket has that inside position, and he makes it look easy.
Paul, certainly heading into the Olympic Games, they hope in 2004, Team USA hopes that they have unstoppable depth. We've seen some of that depth coming off the bench today for Larry Brown. Meanwhile, this team is missing one player. They'll be even better when Karl Malone returns. He's now with his family, having lost his mother last Tuesday. But before leaving, he did address the team about what matters.
It's not about trying to show people how good we are. It's about playing as a team and show our youth in the USA how we play in the game of basketball. That's more important than anything. And we represent the United States. We're not representing ourselves. We represent our country. And it's the closer we can get to represent our country other than being in the military. And we know what kind of job that they have. But the more importantly, do it with pride and dignity. Win with pride and dignity. Act like you've been there. Make the basket, go to the other end.
Well, Marv, if Karl Malone goes for that third gold medal, next year he'll be 41. Back to you.
Yes, Karl Malone, the second leading scorer in NBA history. Two-time MVP, 2 Olympic gold medals, and will rejoin the team in San Juan next week. Second quarter is underway. United States with a 31-23 lead. Both clubs shot well in the opening quarter. Santiago not able to hit, but it's tipped home by Fajardo. U.S. at 60%, 12 for 20 from the field, and Puerto Rico 11 of 22 as they hit 50% of their shots.
Fajardo with a beautiful follow-up. The international rules don't talk about not boxing out. That's what the U.S. didn't do.
And Carter is fouled. Vince Carter, a member of the 2000 Olympic team in Sydney, led the team in scoring. Santiago called for the foul his second. Vince hoping to bounce back. Last year missed 39 games in an injury-hit season. Sidelined for 22 the previous year. Jermaine O'Neal with his first field goal.
Well, back to Karl Malone for a moment. If he goes to Athens, it will be his third Olympics. We mentioned he has already played in 2 in 90, 92 and 96. But he would tie David Robinson for 3-time Olympic participation by a U.S. player. But if he should win a gold, if the U.S. should win a gold, it would make Karl the only male basketball player to have ever earned 3 gold medals.
Substitutions for the Puerto Rico squad. Jose Ortiz is back, and Rolando Herutner played his college ball at Charleston Southern. Has checked in for the first time, wearing number 12. There's a long-range attempt. Apodaca hits from downtown. Rick Apodaca out of Hofstra averaged 18 as a senior last year. And a foul against Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico foul is charged to January Santiago.
Santiago has collected his third. And that will put Ray Allen at the line. Ray Allen, one of the great free throw shooters in the NBA. John talking about this a moment ago. Previous gold medal winners on Team USA: Karl Malone, Ray Allen, Vince Carter, as we mentioned, Jason Kidd. And now they just changed that last foul. It's Fajardo, not Santiago. So Santiago has the 2 fouls. Nice touch. Another three-pointer. This time it's Herutner, veteran of the Puerto Rican Basketball League. He's been with the national team since back in 1996. And the ball back to Puerto Rico, stepped out of bounds.
You've seen the advantage of the Puerto Rican team's togetherness. The core of this team, 7 guys, have played together over the last couple of years. And you can see how they know their own positioning, and the ball movement is so good. Guys know where each other's skills lie best.
Fajardo fouled by Brand, who was looking for the strip.
If you don't think that Fajardo doesn't think that this is an audition, for the NBA world, you'd be wrong. And this guy's showing some stuff. He's been around. People know about him, but it wouldn't hurt to have a strong game for his career against the U.S. best.
John, you mentioned the knee injury, and Fajardo has made it back from surgery on his left knee. We were talking a moment ago about the blackout of this past week. The czar, Mike Fratello, who was scheduled to work the telecast, had a prior commitment for today, so could not be with us. He was on tap Friday night had the game been played, but the czar was in town during the blackout. Said he had a box of Raisinets for breakfast Friday morning because he could not find a restaurant open for breakfast, which is hard to believe in Manhattan. He enjoyed the Raisinets.
But to miss this game because of a haircut appointment, Marv, I think is a bit of a reach.
Oh, is that what it was? Allen able to get inside. The United States with a 36-33 lead. You see some pressure by the U.S. Ortiz back to help. Here's Arroyo. O'Neal fronting Ortiz. Shot clock down to 3. Arroyo, yes, nice move to bail it out with the shot clock running down to 1. It's a 1-point U.S. advantage. Carter.
That's the skills that brought a lot of attention to Carter. He broke away from the crowd then with confidence.
Tracy McGrady getting set to check back in. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Nice play by Brand fronting. He has a 2-on-1. Now Bibby not able to handle the dribble, so Puerto Rico got back. Carter puts the move on. And a foul is called. Elton Brand making contact, or was it Bibby? That is, it is Brand picking up his second. Well, Jason Kidd returns along with Tracy McGrady. Jermaine O'Neal, Vince Carter. Also on the floor, Ray Allen remains. The Kidd defending on Arroyo. 3-point United States lead. It's a warm-up for the Tournament of Americas that will take place in San Juan next week.
Puerto Rican shooting has really improved. They were in the low 40s for most of the game. They're up to 54% now to the U.S. 60%.
Here's Allen for 3. Three-time All-Star Ray Allen, winner of the three-point shootout back in 2001 during the All-Star weekend, knocks it from downtown, and the United States leads 41-35.
This relatively smallish lineup of U.S. really misses the presence of Malone out there now.
Ortiz, nice move. He thought he was fouled by O'Neal. Jose Ortiz, one-time member of the Utah Jazz. Spent some time with the Phoenix Suns. And a foul against Puerto Rico. Sergio Pacheco makes the call, working with Juan Figueroa. It's on Arroyo, his first.
Not bad for a guy at 40 years of age. Ortiz spinning around a much younger Jermaine O'Neal.
Crowd reacts as Richard Jefferson of the New Jersey Nets has checked in for the first time. O'Neal, he blew the stuff as he put the move on Ortiz, but he is fouled. It is on Ortiz. That's his second.
O'Neal's many abilities include the ability to put the ball on the floor and move around tall people. O'Neal at 6'11" is a very talented guy. Just got rewarded with a big contract by the Indiana Pacers in the offseason. He was flirting with other teams like San Antonio, but felt it was best to remain in Indiana, and he was well paid for it.
Jermaine, a 73% free throw shooter last season. Following last summer's performance in the World Championships in Indianapolis, he said he has some unfinished business as an individual. And as a team, Jermaine did not play particularly well in the World Championships last summer.
Well, he wasn't alone, as the U.S. officials noted. And that's why there was big-time focus now on correcting the U.S. image in basketball.
The top 3 finishes in the Tournament of Americas next week will qualify for the 2004 Olympics in Athens. Ortiz, there are 10 teams competing beginning next Wednesday. The only 2 teams that do not have to qualify, Greece, the host country, and world champion Yugoslavia. Now Serbia, Montenegro. That's a 3 once again for Ray Allen, who has 9 points.
That's like a foul shot for Ray Allen. The three-point line outside is 3 feet shorter than the NBA 3.
U.S. up 46-37, just under 5 remaining in this first half. Pretty move by Arroyo. Carlos Arroyo spent last season with Utah, appeared in 44 games. He's also played for Denver and Toronto. Has played well here tonight. Oh, the steal by Arroyo from Jason Kidd.
What an up for him.
Julio Toro, the coach of Puerto Rico, calling out a play. Ortiz, O'Neal with the rebound. O'Neal to the fadeaway.
Looks to me like Ortiz a little tired, and it's very tough staying with the fast-moving Jermaine O'Neal.
O'Neal going for the steal. Here's Ortiz. And a foul is called. That'll put Ortiz at the line. Timeout is called by the United States.
Well, Kid to O'Neal had a great look at that backboard, and he used it to his advantage.
But Allen Iverson reported to John Jay College earlier in the week at those opening practice sessions, all the other players riding him because Allen was right on time and very eager, and has been intense throughout this week as the U.S. team prepares to head to Puerto Rico.
He also very clearly advertised his friendship and his relationship with Larry Brown. And they had some very tough moments during Larry's 5 years in Philadelphia, but it's very smooth now.
Very smooth because Larry's in Detroit. Nick Collison, who just checked in, is rejected.
Well, he also praised Larry for a lot of the things that Larry taught him about maturity and team play and off-the-court behavior, and he's advertising that now. He's quite vocal about it.
Foul is called on Rutner. Puerto Rico now over the foul limit, so Richard Jefferson will go to the line. Richard, the youngest player on the United States roster. He was 5 years old when Karl Malone completed his rookie season with the Utah Jazz.
There are 9 core players chosen for this Olympic situation for the U.S. Jefferson is one of what they call a role player. Means he will not automatically be chosen to be a part of the Olympic team, although he could. And Vince Carter, who's filling in for Kobe Bryant, is also in that situation. Same with Nick Collison and Elton Brand. So the role players may be chosen, but they may not be. Maybe Kevin Garnett could be on that team next year.
A timeout has been taken with 3:07 remaining in the first half. 6 of 7 from the field, 15 points and 5 rebounds. Tim coming off a second NBA championship with the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs knocking off the New Jersey Nets. And the celebration beginning. There's the head coach, Greg Popovich, an assistant on the U.S. squad. along with Roy Williams, Oliver Purnell, on Larry Brown's staff.
And Duncan had an incredible year. When you look at all of the things he does so well, 7th in the league in scoring, 3rd in rebounding this past year, 3rd in block shots, and he's a very unselfish player, also accumulating over 3-4 assists a game.
The question here is who is in possession. There was a held ball a moment ago, and it is alternate possession rather than jump balls, except for the start of the game, and that's what the officials are attempting to sort out. The United States was given the basketball, the possession arrow pointing in that direction, and now the officials, Juan Figueroa, Sergio Pacheco, are discussing it. There you see the possession arrow. That's Julio Toro, head coach of Puerto Rico.
This is the last possession before the timeout. You can see the scrum for that loose basketball. Everybody trusting their coaches with their aggressive play for that loose ball.
John, I thought that you keep stats on alternate possession, because apparently at the official scorer's desk they have not, and we are as a staff very disappointed.
I let it slip, Marv. I don't know how I did it, but it seems to have come to a peaceful conclusion.
The United States will maintain possession.
Marv, can you get rid of this fly flying around us? Very annoying.
You know,
spy or something?
We are broadcasting a basketball game, but it is still August, mid-August.
That's true.
We don't see these flies during the NBA season. And apparently the word is that they have lost track at the scorer's table. So the United States has possession. 48-40 U.S. with the lead. 3 minutes remaining in the first half.
Puerto Rican zone defense now. Nick's looking for the ball movement.
And Collison throws it away. Nick Collison, first round pick, 12th overall of the Seattle Sonics, and hearing it from this crowd.
It's turning on the only collegiate player here. A rough crowd.
And a big crowd, 15, 16,000 here at the Garden. Arroyo with the turn. Rebounded by Collison. Kidd protecting the ball against Arroyo, and another bad pass. And now the crowd upset with a sloppy play by the United States.
With Jason Kidd and Iverson out there too, handling the ball. Collison, by the way, has drawn raves from the coaching staff of his team this past week. Good rebounder, runs the court exceptionally well.
Nick was with the U.S. squad in Indianapolis last summer. This is Ayuso, who just checked back in, getting off the three. Iverson with the alley-oop. Allen Iverson and Richard Jefferson with the beautiful execution, and that gets the crowd going.
Oh, Jefferson's tremendous jumping ability brings him a lot of hoops like that during the NBA season with Jason Kidd.
Here's Cassiano from downtown. Once again, the United States looking to run, led by Kidd. Kidd takes all the way.
Kidd is unselfish. He wanted to give the ball up, but the defense gave him all the room he wanted, so he had to keep it.
Puerto Rico will talk it over. Biggest lead of the game for the United States.
Oh, what a combination. Kidd to Iverson to Jefferson. Make that Iverson, that beautiful finishing lead pass. And Jason Kidd a moment ago was right down the middle and uses the left hand to finish the play.
United States up 52-40.
Their team shooting is really excellent. 65% now as they open up a 12-point lead. All in all, though, Marv, I think Julio Toro's Puerto Rican team is doing well. against this assemblage of NBA All-Stars.
John, you talk to the coaching staff of the United States as they look ahead to next week in San Juan, and they feel the toughest competition will be, or is expected to come, from Argentina, Brazil, and Puerto Rico.
Incidentally, on that Argentina team, Manu Ginobili from the San Antonio Spurs, who drew a lot of attention this year, will be playing. You mentioned Hilario before. For Brazil, Canada will feature Steve Nash and Jamal Magloire. Mexico will feature Eduardo Nahara from Dallas. Thank you, Marv. So there'll be some NBA presence down there in Puerto Rico next week. 10 games will be played by the U.S. in 11 days.
Coming up on a minute and a half remaining in this first half. Ayuso being watched by Iverson. Cassiano with the step and went to the left hand, rebounded by Duncan. And Kidd on the run. Played well by Arroyo, then spins. Kept alive by Jefferson. Not a good pass by Duncan.
Yeah, some of the overpassing that's been going on by this unselfish team.
Arroyo from downtown. And we saw that earlier in the week in some of those opening workouts where the United States players were overpassing and trying to be unselfish with each other. Jefferson. And here's Cassiano for Puerto Rico. Ayuso with the step. Ayuso fires one up and he's fouled by Collison.
Larry Ayuso, the leading scorer on this team, has not really comfortably gotten into it here in the first half. And as a result, he's acting kind of desperate for some offensive output. Exceedingly tough shot by him. He's a terrific shooter from the perimeter, but he just hasn't gotten going yet.
Played his college ball at the University of Southern Cal, following a year at New Mexico Junior College. Born in Puerto Rico, grew up in the Bronx. Played in the CBA, played briefly in Greece and in Italy. Played well last summer in the World Championships, averaged 19 a game, led the Puerto Rican national team in scoring. 7-point United States lead.
Puerto Rico back to their man-to-man defense.
Duncan from Iverson to draw the foul, and Duncan heads to the line. Nice pass from Iverson. Jorge Rivera called for the foul.
Part of the greatness of Tim Duncan is his hands. He can get a pass thrown at him, not perfectly, and still recover it as he makes it for his foul shot. The hands are so important, particularly for big men, because sometimes that ball doesn't get there the way they like it. But those who can still function well with passes below where they want them to be or off target really helps them greatly.
Coming up at halftime, Al will be chatting with Stu Jackson, Senior Vice President, Basketball Operations, and will be considered the general manager of this U.S. national team. From long range, Cassiano buries the three, just did beat the buzzer. And for those of you around the country watching on NBA television, see Mark Morgan in the studio. So the United States up by 6 after leading by as many as 12. How about Cassiano from straight away?
That's a big-time three, and now we have a 6-point lead at halftime for the U.S.
Tim Duncan leading the way for the United States with 17. Here's Al with Tim.
All right, Tim, one half, a little bit of a feel of how things can be for this team. Give me your assessment.
Thought we did pretty well. Defensively, we've given up a couple of layups, a couple of easy open shots. Other than that, I thought we were doing pretty well. These exhibition games have been great for us. Give us a good feel for the game.
I talked to your head coach in San Antonio, Greg Popovich, today. He said it's really, really hard to get you guys to learn some of the new tendencies in this game, especially how physical you can be on defense. How tough is that for you?
Yeah, it's a different game. It's a different game. The officials are calling it differently, so it changed the game entirely. So we just got to get used to it. Luckily enough, we have some of these exhibition games to do that.
Thanks for your time, Tim.
Thanks.
Back to you, Mark.
All right, thanks, Al. United States shot 63% from the field in the first half, 20 of 32. Halftime at Madison Square Garden. It's the U.S. up by 6.
A strong body.
Reigning MVP of the NBA. Off the opening tip, check it out. Puerto Rico's Carlos Arroyo of the Utah Jazz takes it in for the easy layup, and just like that, Puerto Rico up 2-zip. Americans going the other way. Check it out, Jason Kidd. The quick pass inside to Duncan for the easy layup. USA on top, 13-9. That worked so well that Allen Iverson will try the same thing. Check out AI. Oh, there's Duncan ahead of the pack. Tim Duncan hit his first 6 shots from the floor in this game. USA up 15-9. Watch this. The USA team goes back-to-back behind the back. First, Iverson goes behind the back to Tracy McGrady, who does the same to Mike Bibby. Bibby drains the 3 ball. End of 1. USA on top. 31-23 to the second quarter now. Puerto Rico to Arroyo. He hits again. Quick turnaround. He leads his squad with 12 points at the break. The USA still on top by 1, though, at that point. Vince Carter, pretty fadeaway. Looks fully recovered from all those injuries he suffered last season. Vince's bucket gave the United States a 3-point lead. 3-point line, 3 feet closer in international play. Ray Allen says, I think I like that. 41-35, Team USA. Ray Allen again. This time left wing, bang, another 3. 46-37, Team USA's lead grows. Kidd spots Jermaine O'Neal. O'Neal, dribble, drive. Pretty little kind of a floater there for the big man. A 9-point lead for the USA. Here comes Team USA in transition. Iverson, the final pass, the alley-oop to Richard Jefferson, and he knows how to finish to the board. Team USA on top at the break, 54-48. Not on your screen, as I mentioned before, Carlos Arroyo leads Puerto Rico with 12 points. Tim Duncan leads everybody with 17, along with 6 boards. Allen with 9, O'Neal and Iverson with 6 apiece. Obviously, again, this game taking place at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. All right, when we come back, we will hear from several members of Team USA.
32 for 63%, 13 assists for the U.S., but 7 turnovers, only 3 turnovers committed by Puerto Rico.
Which is an advertisement for the fact that they know each other so well. As we said earlier, they've been playing together for a long time, last couple of years, the hardcore of this team has, and it reflects in that low turnover number.
High point man Tim Duncan with 17 on 6 of 7 from the field. Carlos Arroyo leading the way for Puerto Rico. Carlos 5 for 7, 12 points in his 20 minutes of play. This is a warm-up game, an exhibition contest in preparation for the Tournament of Americas, which will get underway next Wednesday in San Juan at the Roberto Clemente Coliseum. The U.S. will open against Brazil. Brazil led by Nene Hilario, who was originally a draft pick of the Knicks and then was dealt to the Denver Nuggets in the deal involving Antonio McDyess. Following Brazil, the U.S. will face the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, and the Virgin Islands. Tim Duncan, born in the Virgin Islands, and said he had mixed emotions about going up against his home country.
He's a very well-developed person, Tim Duncan. Despite his dominance in a very physical sport, he's a very sensitive man. Well, Larry Brown wants to continue to get his team now in the second half to push the ball better. Push it after misses. Push it after makes. Puerto Rico makes a basket. They want to come bursting out running as much as possible here in the second half.
That was deflected out by the United States. Carlos Arroyo, Eddie Casiano, Larry Ayuso in a 3-guard offense with the big men Jose Ortiz and Daniel Santiago. This is the team that started the game for Puerto Rico. Here's Santiago. And back comes Iverson. United States going with the lineup that opened. Duncan, O'Neal, McGrady up front, Iverson and Kidd in the backcourt. Here's O'Neal putting moves on Ortiz. Rebounded by Duncan, goes right back at the hoop. Rare miss for Duncan. Cassiano fires down, intended for Ortiz, broke it up. Comes back to Arroyo. And now Iverson running the floor.
Unselfish Duncan could have taken that shot, but he wanted to start the offense.
Bad pass and another United States turnover. We're just underway in the third quarter. Ayuso with the step and nowhere to go. Gave it up. Ortiz could not put it down.
Good defense by the U.S. there. Feet moving.
Oh, behind the back from Iverson, but it could not be handled. The club able to score here at the start of the second half. Ayuso for three.
Ayuso only 1 for 4 in the first half from the field.
Duncan facing contact from Santiago, and Duncan with the tip.
There was an advertisement for the more physical play in international basketball. The officials let a lot of banging go on without blowing that whistle.
As we mentioned earlier, Larry Brown said it's a different sport when you're playing international rules. Santiago.
Larry also pushing for more unification of the rules as it would apply to NBA play as well. Let's get everybody on the same page.
Arroyo attempting the look away, but Cassiano not able to handle it. United States 56, Puerto Rico 48.
USA did well on the boards in the first half rather, and that comes to some degree to, well, naturally their superior size.
Iverson from downtown.
But one of Larry Brown's selling points is we want 5 men on the rim when they shoot. In other words, on defense, when we shoot, we want 3 men on the rim to assure rebounding dominance.
Puerto Rico 0 for 6 here at the start of the third quarter, and they take a timeout. Now that music sounds somewhat familiar.
It should be to you.
Paul Pierce, all-star forward.
Jim. A really important thing for Allen to hear.
Well, Allen Iverson played for Larry Brown for 6 years. They certainly have their ups and downs in terms of that relationship, but thus far in practice, all has gone well.
Yes, Allen's skills are such that he certainly deserves to be here. And finally, Larry Ayuso comes through with a perimeter shot. And also Iverson is very enthused about this. He's not an indifferent member of this star-studded team.
8-point lead for the United States. McGrady for 3, yes. Tracy McGrady from downtown. McGrady has 7. United States up by 11.
See, that kind of shooting will really deter a defense like Puerto Rico just presented that was packed in around the basket. You get open shooters and opportunities, NBA good shooters, why that'll make their game easier.
U.S. 5 of 10 from beyond that 3-point line. Pretty pass from Ortiz, but Cassiano blew the layup.
Give and go basketball.
And Iverson looking for the give and go, and it backfired. Arroyo takes advantage.
Arroyo with his hands up. That's why you hear coaches telling defenders, hands up, hands up. Well, he got an easy one there because his hands were up.
John, that was turnover number 11 for the United States. Very sloppy here in the third quarter. McGrady gets inside. Puerto Rico with only 4 turnovers, leading to just 5 points.
Why people love playing with Jason Kidd. If you're open for an instant, you will get the basketball if you're a teammate of Kidd.
Ayuso again from downtown. Larry Ayuso grew up in Puerto Rico, then moved to the South Bronx as a youngster. Played in the CBA, he's played overseas. And the foul is called. It is on O'Neal, that's his second.
Larry Ayuso has come a long way, a hard way, and he is a star of this team. Had a weak first half. There's Arroyo on that last steal. Had an easy layup, and to see him now get his touch, Ayuso get his touch now in the second half, is thrilling for him. You got to feel good for him.
6 of his 11 here in the third quarter. He hit a couple from downtown. Arroyo with a nice move. And Ayuso comes up with the basketball. Rolando Huritner is checked back in, replacing Daniel Santiago. That's Ayuso again. He's on fire. Puerto Rico within 5.
And he ran Iverson off a pick and lost Iverson, and nobody came out to recover to help against the fine shooting Ayuso.
Another 3 for Ayuso. Iverson. Battle between Kidd and Ayuso. Last touch by Ayuso.
How about that physical play with Kidd and Ayuso there? Guys, I mean, in the NBA, that's a foul. Not an international play. They were really banging.
Iverson looking for the pick. Another United States turnover, and this crowd has become impatient. We saw that at the end of the first half. It's turnover number 12.
A 5-point game. Credit Puerto Rico's defense and their hustle.
The United States has led by as many as 12. Strong move by Fajardo, but not able to finish. So some hands in front of his face. Duncan does finish. Will not count. Traveling violation.
Yeah, he took 2 steps before he went up. But the movement thrilled the crowd here at Madison Square Garden.
Three and a half remaining in the third. Marv Albert, Johnny Hoops, John Andres, Al Traveling from the Garden on the MSG Network and NBA television. Jose Ortiz showing an outside touch. 8 unanswered for Puerto Rico. They're within 3.
Larry Brown will have a lot to say in their practice sessions, and it'll revolve around defense.
Duncan. So Tim Duncan with 21 points. He's 8 of 12 from the field.
Larry Brown teaches such team defense, wants his players to always be in position to help. And too many times now, Puerto Rican team is getting open shots with guys looking at the ball and not keeping track of their own men so they can recover quickly when that man gets the ball.
Elton Brand, Vince Carter, check back in, replacing Jermaine O'Neal. And Tracy McGrady. O'Neal 6 points, 9 rebounds. McGrady with 9 points. Brand, Duncan, and Carter up front. Iverson and Kidd in the backcourt. Iverson. Allen Iverson with the rainbow. The United States with a 68-61 lead. 11 points for Iverson. Off the steal. They doubled up on Arroyo. Here's Kidd trying to lead Brand, but a foul. Arroyo made contact with Kidd.
It looked like Kidd was passing in the middle of that move, but it appears that he will... I guess that was the judgment. Yes, it was a pass, not a shot attempt.
Another substitution being waved on. Here comes Mike Bibby of the Sacramento Kings, replacing Jason Kidd. A low-key performance thus far for Kidd. 1 field goal, 4 assists. And again, a foul on Puerto Rico. This time it's on Ayuso.
And watching the team, the U.S. team practice this week, Marv, we saw the scrimmage going on, 5-on-5 stuff, and it was so hard for each team to get a shot off, much less make them. That defense isn't here today for the U.S. team.
Brand able to hit on a fadeaway on Ortiz, so the United States up by 9 as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the third. 6-0 run for the U.S. Ortiz gets it down low. Nice pass, and Sharif Fajardo is able to put it off glass.
Very poor defense by the U.S. team, not picking up the big man cutting.
Here's Bibby for 3. Rebounded by Brand, one of the best off the offensive glass, and he draws the foul.
Number 12, Ray Allen.
Elton Brand will go to the line.
Puerto Rico pushing that ball. Look at that cut down the middle. Duncan lost track of his man. Brand around the basket. Terrific fadeaway shooter. Very soft touch, and he avoids the defense with that fadeaway action.
Elton only a 69% free throw shooter last season for the Los Angeles Clippers. Elton grew up in Peekskill, New York, upstate. We asked him about the blackout difficulties. He said no blackout at his house in Peekskill. That's where he visited during the week at the time of the blackout. 7th turnover committed by Puerto Rico.
He could have been a reporter to his teammates. He was watching all the action on television.
Here's Allen. Air ball saved by Duncan. Still 9 on the shot clock. Most of the U.S. players ended up in the lobby of their hotel as Carter knocks it down. That was this past Thursday night with no air conditioning, no television, no light. But Tim Duncan said he was in his room when the power went out and just hung around, sitting in the dark, waiting for the lights to go on. Tim, a very patient guy, apparently. 1 hour later, he was still sitting in the dark and was finally alerted about the blackout.
It's safe to say he's a very low-key guy.
Yes, he is.
Puerto Rico foul is charged from Jose Ortiz.
Foul on Ortiz.
That's his 3rd, and team is 4th.
Does that happen to you, John? You just sit there in the dark?
I did that the other night. Yes. Actually, I sat on a curb for a while.
Right.
And I sought the fresh air. Much better than the stagnant air of an apartment, you know. Well, you had your own problems in Toronto. You were out of town.
Family, yeah. Actually, the same situation that took place in New York.
It's good for you to be able to relate to what was going on here in New York, so you wouldn't be...
A lot of activity by candlelight. 58 seconds remaining in the third, and the U.S. up by 10. United States, as you saw, careless with the basketball here in the third quarter. 7 of their 14 turnovers in the third. Shot clock down to 5. Fajardo over Brand. Brand got a piece of it. Brand with the rebound. Allen off the hesitation dribble draws the foul. Ayuso picks up his second, and Puerto Rico over the foul limit.
Larry Brown's message on defense always revolves around team defense, and it's so difficult for a player who is guarding his man to also be in position to help quickly without being burned if that ball finds its way back to his man. And I think that's an area that the U.S. team is going to have to work on. Help without being a victim while you're helping. One of the statements out of Larry Brown's mouth was for people in this New York area witnessed over the years with Red Holzman as a coach of the Knicks, the phrase "see the ball" throughout their fine years here in New York in the early 70s. See the ball. That was coming out of Larry Brown's mouth. See the ball, while also being on top of your own man in that responsibility.
There's some pressure on the inbounds. Carter looking for the steal, but called for the foul. Non-shooting affair.
We see Toronto new coach Kevin O'Neill in the crowd here today, and Vince Carter is showing him a very, very active defensive attitude, which will make the new coach happy.
Just under 20 seconds remaining in the third. Shot clock down to 2. That's a three-pointer. Rick Apodaca able to hit the three. Will it count? No. And there is no replay in international basketball, but that was clearly too late. After 3, it's the United States up by 9. Here is the 3 by Apodaca. Played his college basketball at Hofstra, born and raised in North Bergen, New Jersey. And there's Vince Carter. You can see it's waved off. The outside official, Juan Figueroa, was right on it.
I can't imagine how thrilled Apodaca must feel playing here at Madison Square Garden and doing as well as he is.
They now lead by 9 as this fourth quarter gets underway. Here's Carter. Rebounded by Santiago. Carlos Arroyo, who has played well out of Florida International, spent last season with the Utah Jazz, also played for Denver and Toronto. Santiago gets it down low. Fajardo not able to hit. And back comes the United States. A backcourt of Bibby and Allen, Carter, O'Neal, and Brand up front.
I don't think Larry Brown likes to see a long jump shot after the first pass in the offense.
Arroyo draws the foul. And it looks like Carlos hurt his hand.
U.S. foul is on Jermaine O'Neal.
Foul on O'Neal. That is his third.
Arroyo exploding up court. That was a weak defensive play by the U.S. Just putting a hand out to stop him. That was a schoolyard play, actually.
Arroyo, a member of the Puerto Rican national team since 1999. Puerto Rico, their first free throws in the second half. Allen shuffles it to Brand. Brand with the rebound. Allen. Bibby for 3. Brand again on the offensive glass. And the foul. The basket counts. And the foul called on Daniel Santiago.
Elton Brand is so tough around the basket, and he's only 6'8". My goodness, a lot of guards are 6'8". Small forwards are 6'8". This guy plays like a monster around the board. He's so tough physically. His great ability to keep competing, too, in a loose ball situation around the basket.
Last season, Elton led the league in offensive rebounding, averaging 5 per game. He has 5 here this afternoon.
Elton has recently re-signed with the Clippers as well.
Elton Brand making it back from a stress fracture injury. Allen called on the foul.
And Marv, most importantly, he was a member of the all-interview team this year in the NBA. Very proud of that.
Sought after honor by all. Fajardo not able to hit. Here's Carter going behind the back to draw the foul. And you can hear the boos from this crowd that do not necessarily appreciate all the extra stuff from Vince Carter.
Yes, Vince Carter in his way, though, is getting, showing his basic personality, which tends to be quite individualistic. And that's what the crowd jumped on him for. He's not showing enough of what he does in practice or did this past week, which is more a sublimation of his skills to 4 other guys around him.
United States with a 78-67 lead. We are early in the fourth quarter. Apodaca. And now the U.S. on the run. They have a 3-on-2. Brand with the head fake. Elton Brand, nice fake on Eddie Casiano. And this is the biggest lead of the game. for the U.S.
Elton running the court beautifully with the shorter, quicker players. And when he gets around that basket, he doesn't get fancy. He goes right to the rim.
We're back at Madison Square Garden right now. Team USA up by 13 points. Now, the NBA has had tremendous success in creating awareness with their Read to Achieve program. This week, USA Basketball selected 50 kids from around New York City schools for a program very similar. The kids read to players like Allen Iverson and Vince Carter. And then Richard Jefferson played drill sergeant as the kids then got into basketball mode. Keep away with Ray Allen and Tim Duncan teaching his trademark bank shot. It was about skills, it was about learning, it was about bonding. There are 50 kids in this city right now who know what the coolest thing they did this week is. Back to you, Marv.
All right, thanks, Al. 8:20 remaining in this fourth quarter. United States with a 13-point lead. And this represents the biggest lead of the game. Cassiano being played by Allen. This is Arroyo guarded by Bibby. Apodaca. Ortiz not able to hit on the rebound. O'Neal. And a pushing foul called on Brand.
Puerto Rico foul is on Sharif Fajardo.
Check that on Fajardo. That's the second team foul on Puerto Rico.
And was the beneficiary of that foul.
Bibby and Allen in the backcourt. Carter, O'Neal, Brand up front. Bad pass. Another United States turnover. And that's a kick ball. Puerto Rico maintains possession.
You just don't see players fake pass before they pass, which can get the defensive man off balance enough. That ball was almost handed to Arroyo.
At the World Championships last summer in Indianapolis, as you see Larry Ayuso checking back in. Last summer, the U.S. team stunned, embarrassed by finishing 6th. They lost 3 games. This after winning 58 straight in international competition. That is their major motivation going into the tournament next week in Puerto Rico. Once again, a lot of sloppy passing and ball handling by the U.S. Carter bailed out as he was fouled. Foul on Ayuso. That is his 3rd.
You know what Larry Brown is wrestling with now, Marv, is, as he cited in one of his post-practice talks to the media, is, you know, he looks down that bench and he sees 11, 12 guys, normally 12 with Karl Malone here. Who do I play? I mean, what is the mixture of talent that is going to best represent the team on the floor? And I'm sure he's been given a lot to think about today with some sloppy play. Who plays better with whom, and who should get more time. But yet he wants to honor all of these guys by giving them all a good amount of time as best he can.
I think one of the difficulties among many last summer in Indianapolis was the fact that George Karl was trying to be kind to everybody, and there was not a set rotation, and you must have a set rotation. Even in the Olympics, you can go only 8 or 9 deep. Foul called inside. Right now, the United States going with a very small team. Brady called on the foul. But on this particular squad, you know that Nick Collison is not going to see much action. Probably Richard Jefferson will not see much playing time.
Well, that's undoubtedly the reason for the definition of role players. 3 role players will be on the Olympic team, as there are 3 role players here. Those names you just mentioned being in that category.
But there will be a couple of unhappy players, normally star players in the NBA. That's a 3. It counts. And a foul. Away from the ball, we heard the whistle. Apparently they wave off the foul. A lot of contact down low, but it's a 3 by Allen.
Ray Allen, who has lit up Madison Square Garden many times over the years, is enjoying his perimeter opportunities here today.
Cassiano looking for position, has to give it up. Cassiano forcing. And the rebound handled by Bibby. McGrady for three. Last touch by Ortiz of Puerto Rico.
Some good defensive moments for the U.S. now in the last couple of minutes. Really getting on guys and getting help where necessary.
Timeout called with 6:16 remaining in the fourth. United States leads by 17.
Coaches and parents by playing the right way.
Larry Brown with much Olympic experience. The only American to have played and coached in Olympic men's basketball. Won gold as a player on the 1964 U.S. Olympic team. What a squad that was. Bill Bradley, Joe Caldwell, Jumping Joe, Walt Hazard, Lucius Jackson, Jeff Mullen.
Larry Brown had a big game in the semifinals, as I recall, Mark, scoring 16 points against Puerto Rico.
A look at the 64 team. Jim Bad News Barnes, a first-round draft pick of the Knicks, on that squad out of Texas Western. And the foul is called. Tracy McGrady with a strong move to the hoop, and now Cassiano and Allen have some words. A hard foul. Here's McGrady. And he'll head to the line.
Well, Sharif Fajardo was not interested in seeing McGrady light up Madison Square Garden with a flying dunk. That was a pretty rough foul by him. The kind of foul that NBA coaches like to see their players execute.
Tracy has been off his game here this afternoon.
Tracy's coach, Doc Rivers, was at practices this week at John Jay College, as was Isaiah Thomas, who was in town to check out Larry Brown's act and see Jermaine O'Neal in action.
10 unanswered points by the United States. Fajardo looking for position on Jefferson. Nice move by Sharif Fajardo, who has 11 points. And McGrady fouled once again. This time Cassiano called for the personal. Puerto Rico is over the foul limit.
As rough as it is out there for McGrady, who's getting banged around pretty good, he still plays with a smile.
Tracy McGrady struggling at the line. 1 for 4 at the line. Just under 5.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. United States up by 17. Crowd reacting to the ball handling of Arroyo.
Yes, and the idea for the U.S. team is to get the ball out of his hands. That's why we see Duncan coming up to help out Iverson.
Ortiz with the save. Arroyo open for three. He's played very well. 18 points for Arroyo. Richard Jefferson. And the United States extends to a 16-point lead. The High Point men, Tim Duncan with 21, Carlos Arroyo with 18. Larry Yuso has 14 points. They surround McGrady, and a foul on Cassiano. So McGrady will head back to the line with Puerto Rico over the foul limit.
There are many instances of very physical play that the U.S. players are not used to, and fouls not being called. On that particular play, the whistle did blow.
Also, number 9, Raymond Dalmau, back to the lineup for Puerto Rico.
Richie Dalmau Checking back in, and Carlos Arroyo hears it from the crowd. We appreciate his work. A large Puerto Rican contingent also on hand here at the Garden. First time that Arroyo has had a rest. Here's McGrady. That's a 3 for McGrady, extending to a 20-point advantage.
Well, fans here in New York just enjoying seeing McGrady up close, not to mention his teammates as well.
Dalmau. And a foul is called.
USA foul is on Tim Duncan.
It is on Duncan. Richie Dalmau is a good penetrator, open court player. Saw the opening.
Number 6, Roberto Jose Hatton.
Now Bobby Joe Hatton, who played his college ball, and Marist will come on for the first time.
Well, Marv, it's safe to say the outcome has been determined after a very competitive 3 quarters between these two teams, with all of a sudden the strength and depth of the U.S. team really showing the dominance. Heavily reflected on the rebounding numbers. 43-19 favored the U.S. following Larry Brown's script of 5 men on the boards on defense, 3 men on the boards on offense.
Jefferson from Kidd. Richard Jefferson. Led beautifully by Jason Kidd.
Good job of contesting shots now. Jason Kidd had his hands up in the face of the shooter.
And Kidd put it up there for Duncan. Here's Hatton. Iverson was looking for the block. McGrady on the run. Back for Jefferson.
Some fun passing going on now. The U.S. team really getting into moving that basketball to the open people.
Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in the game, and a commanding lead now for the United States. Puerto Rico able to hang in through 3 quarters of play, helped by the many turnovers committed by the U.S., 15 in all. Here's McGrady, and he's fouled.
Well, nothing like teammates who have been playing well together all year, or 2 years in this case, a couple of years. Kidd to Jefferson. Kidd certainly knows Jefferson. Jefferson knows to keep that head up and keep those arms open, because the ball's coming his way when he stays in action.
Nick Collison has checked back in, coming on for Tim Duncan, who sits down with 21 points. An outstanding performance, 8 of 14 from the field, 15 rebounds. For the NBA's most valuable player.
Brady having some trouble with his foul shooting today. Team USA, you can see 59% from the foul line. That's not good.
McGrady 3 of 9 at the line. Puerto Rico just 2 for 13 from the field here in the 4th. 2.5 remaining. Ortiz and Collison with the save. Good play. And here's it from the crowd. The crowd has been all over Collison. That's a sardonic response as he was able to put it off Apodaca.
Fine hustle play by Collison. Did all the right things. Got his team the ball back with that hustle.
When you're playing international basketball, it's not a different game. It's a different sport. Getting very physical out there. That's been the case throughout the 4th quarter. Collison with the rebound. Collison on the follow. Nick Collison from Kansas. First round pick of the Seattle Sonics.
He has played international basketball for 7 straight summers. Very experienced.
We're down to a minute and 51 remaining in the game. Everyone now in the scoring column with Collison scoring. And Dalmau to the line, fouled by Bibby. I would think, John, for an exhibition game, the coaching staff will look at it and say it was okay at this point. For Puerto Rico, I think a different outlook. They'll say, hey, we did a nice job, particularly for 3 quarters, but the U.S. still has a ways to go when you consider the talent on this squad.
Yes, they have to just get closer and closer and on the same page. Nice jump shot by Jefferson. Again, back to fundamentals, which is what Larry Brown sells so well and has such great respect for, getting away from individual play. And with this talent, I'm sure he will get this team to that level. Don't forget, they've only been together for 1 week.
Shot clock to 5. And here comes Bibby in the open court, trying to find Jefferson. Collison does.
Very nice reaction by Collison to get rid of the ball to his teammate.
This is Hatton. Latimer. Antonio Latimer trying for 3. Iverson goes behind the back to Bibby, and he is fouled. Again, a hard foul. Puerto Rico not allowing layups. Antonio Latimer called for the foul. It's Latimer out of Missouri Southern. Began his college career at DePaul and then transferred. He was on the national team last summer in Indianapolis. Crowd here at the Garden. Good turnout, 16,473 for an exhibition game. On a Sunday afternoon, a game that was actually postponed from Friday night due to the blackout. And an enthusiastic crowd.
Yeah, great active crowd. They've really enjoyed seeing this U.S. team naturally. And the Puerto Rican contingent here in New York, you know, has loved seeing their team.
Latimer. Back comes Bibby. Jefferson soaring to score. Crowd looking for something explosive here in the final minute. Hatton off the head fake with 15 seconds remaining. U.S. has outscored Puerto Rico 26-7 in the 4th. The crowd wants more action, and Puerto Rico just holding on to the basketball. Then a reach-in is called on Carter.
You know, Marv, when you consider the score right now, 101-73, we have to point out, too, this is a 40-minute game, unlike the NBA game, which is 48 minutes. So this hungry crowd has seen some pretty good scoring for almost 40 minutes right now.
Bobby Joe Hatton at the line. We're down to 5 seconds remaining in the game. Puerto Rico just 2 of 18 from the field in the 4th quarter. Final seconds, and the United States has defeated Puerto Rico in this exhibition contest 101-74 as they look to the Tournament of Americas, which gets underway next Wednesday in San Juan. Puerto Rico, the top 3 finishers in that tournament, will qualify for the 2004 Olympics in Athens. The high point man, Tim Duncan, 21 points, 15 rebounds. Tracy McGrady at 15. Ray Allen with 14 to lead the U.S. Carlos Arroyo at 18, and Larry Ayuso, 14 high point men for Puerto Rico. Let's go to Al Troutwig. Al?
All right, Marv, I'm with Richard Jefferson of the New Jersey Nets, but he's wearing a USA jersey here today. This has to be a tremendous honor for you to have been selected to this.
No, this is the biggest honor. 2 years ago, I was playing in college, and now, you know, I was selected among the best to play in the NBA, you know, for this USA, and it's, you know, the best honor I've had throughout my career.
You know, everybody watches you and Jason Kidd pull off that alley-oop again. That's got to give you a good comfort feeling. When you get in the game and he's on the floor, the two of you can work your magic the way you did all season.
Without a doubt. And the other point guard is Mike Bibby, who, you know, we grew up 10 minutes apart. We both went to Arizona, so, you know, we know each other very well. So I feel very comfortable out there.
Richard, we've done a lot of talking to the coaching staff about what they're trying to get you guys to do to get away from the NBA game and get more into the international frame of mind. What kinds of things was Larry Brown and Greg Popovich reminding the team during the game?
Just teamwork. He says that, you know, for all these players, you know, on our team, you know, we have to do everything for our team during the regular season, where here, it's just a matter of roles. We need certain people to rebound. We need certain people to run, you know, and certain people just to play great defense.
You guys sit around and handicap the tournament?
Excuse me?
You handicap the tournament you're about to play in?
No, not at all. You know, for us, we're still trying to get our legs underneath us. You know, I missed a bunch of layups. We had a bunch of missed free throws. So, you know, until, you know, we feel very comfortable, you know, we're going to go out there and play as hard as we can.
Have a great trip to the Caribbean.
Thank you.
Richard Jefferson, back to you, Marv.
All right, thanks, Al. United States shooting 54% for the game, 37 of 69. Puerto Rico ended up at 36%. USA 101, Puerto Rico 74. We'll be back in a moment.